news. The popular YouTuber and anime philanthropist Nonchalant Saitama is on the run. He's been accused of making too many banger videos.
Nonchalant, huh? We'll see about that.
A good old-fashioned retirement, something that all Americans strive for, something that is part of the American dream. You're supposed to work hard, go to school, get a good job, get a good wife, and spend your entire life working away in hopes of retirement. Let me tell you something. You're never going to be able to retire. I'm sorry to tell you that. In this economy, you think you're going to be able to retire? No. So get back to work. But don't feel sad, because you know who else isn't allowed to retire and who else isn't going to be able to retire for a long time?
My mom! Get out!
Sorry, Andre. Ladies and gentlemen, please let this grieving soul retire.
You're so nonchalant, but I like that about you.
If you haven't seen the series or don't remember the plot of the series, let me explain it to you before we get into the video. Our MC, Cry Andrew, is perfect. He does nothing wrong. He is the epitome of peak humanity. You look at him, you see a winner. You think about him, you think about a winner. Okay, Cap. Cry Andrew is the leader of the biggest clan in this particular universe. The clan itself is called the First Steps. And amongst the First Steps, the core members are from the Grievers Party, which is the party that our MC is a part of. This party consists of 5 of his childhood friends. And those 5 childhood friends aren't just any childhood friends. Because of trials and tribulations, they are the strongest 5 to 6 people, if you include Cry, on the earth, literally on the earth. And you may think, why did you hesitate when you said 5 or 6 if you include Cry? Because this is the plot. This is the whoop-de-doo. Cry is particularly weak. He's not that strong. And at first, before I figured out the story behind it and his powers, I guessed beforehand that, okay, maybe he's just super smart. Maybe intellect is the one thing that he has over everybody else. They're just not telling us. But no, he's a regular dude who's just gets misinterpreted. He gets misunderstood a lot of time, and a couple of those misunderstandings led him to becoming the leader of the Grievers in the first place. He wanted to retire early before his party took off even more, but our boy Luke Psycho, which is the redhead guy with the sword, he misinterpreted it for him wanting to be the leader, and he has been the leader ever since. And that's practically it. We are watching somebody who really has no skill, no talent whatsoever be the leader of the greatest clan on the earth at that time. And this show is explaining their journey. It's showing their journey. Scene. Now, let's talk about the Grievers Party in particular. There are 6 members. Well, 7 members? 6 and official, unofficial member. First, we have Cry Andrew, the leader. Then we have Lucia Roger, who is supposedly Cry's sister. I can see the resemblance feature-wise, but you would think they would have the same last name. At first, I thought, they still could be related without having the same last name. It's just one of those stories. But with the next couple of members, that was debunked. The next couple of members are Citry Smart, Liz Smart, and Unsim Smart, and they are relatives with the same last name. So going back to Lucia, I guess they're family by connection. Maybe they grew up together. Maybe her parents or his parents were not trying to speak it into existence, but unalive. And if that was the case, then I understand. Or who knows? But going back to Liz, she is the thief bandit of the group, one of the monstrosities of the party, probably the biggest monstrosity in the party. Well, I guess besides Luke, because her skill set plus her personality make her very dangerous. She is a upbeat girl, very easygoing, very straightforward, and also psycho. But she's the good psycho. She's the upfront psycho, because unlike the next member, which is her sister, Citry Smart, dog, that is the definition of batshit crazy. That was also one of the biggest and best turnarounds that I've seen in a minute, but we're going to talk about that situation in a later segment. Citry is the alchemist of the group. She is strong herself, but she specializes in everything alchemy. Next, we have Unsim Smart, which, like I said earlier, is the brother to Citry and Liz Smart. Basically, he is the MC off the, what's that show called? I forgot what it's called, but it's like level 9099 Labyrinth Tank somebody, but essentially he's just a big old tank. He's a tank. He can expand or shrink as much as he wants to. That's his power. And he's a tank. The ultimate tank. I mean, he is huge. It makes me wonder how it looks down. Next and lastly, well, second to last, we have Luke Psycho. He is your typical anime redhead. Fiery, passionate, ready for the smoke at any time. Want the smoke at any time. Encourages the smoke at every single opportunity. And actually lastly, because she is a member and she is the official 7th member, but depending on where you read, they may not list her as the official member. Nevertheless, she's here and her name is Zoro. I mean, Eliza Beck. If you don't watch One Piece, you probably won't get that correlation, but essentially Zoro is always getting lost. We have yet to be formally introduced to Eliza. We see glimpses of her, and we saw her at the end of season 2, which hopefully means it's guaranteed to get a season 3. Because why tease seeing Eliza at the end of season 2 if you are not going to drop a season 3? That would be crazy. But we have seen crazier and more effed up stuff happen. One Punch Man. Anyway, Eliza is the 7th member of the group. Without too much to go on, that's all I can say, honestly. And that concludes all of the members of the Grievers. Now, on to the next topic. Now, let's talk about the pros of the series. I think it's very funny. However, you have to turn your brain off. It's not one of those shows that you can watch and take it too seriously. This is one of those pastime shows, not an in-between show, because you can binge this show over and over. However, I wouldn't expect it to be one of those upper echelon shows, because some people can get, not brainwashed, but get too used to and get desensitized to the lesser series because all they watch are these up the ante shows, all these 4K 120 FPS. They're watching all of the peak shows, basically the real peak shows like the Attack on Titans, all these things, and it kind of makes their, I guess, threshold of what they consider to be good kind of too high. No offense. This is a very enjoyable show. It's very funny as long as you take it for what it is. If you're expecting it to be some ultra crazy show that has the best animation, the best plot, the best story, it's not that. But for what it is, I think it does it really well. So to recap, the first pro, I think it's very funny. Next, I love that they took the time to explain why Cry is the way Cry is. Most series leave you up in the dark, or they don't ever drop a season 2. So unless you just go searching for the answer, and that's if the manga or light novel has the answer already written, you just won't know. Spoiler alert, but the reason Cry is the way he is because he has terrible luck. He has terrible luck. Bad things find him. But on the flip side, he has great luck when it comes to meeting people. So the amazing people that he meets balances out his bad luck. Dang, I kind of just ruined the segment for my later in the video. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is the cons. Granted, it really wasn't that many cons. The only thing that I can think of, which kind of ruined the series for me a little bit. When I say a little bit, I mean a little bit. The joke or the trope could have got overly played if they would have added one more episode without explaining to us the lore. Without explaining to us Cry's lore and the reason behind his actions. This could have easily been thrown to the same batch of shows as, what's that show name? I Parry Brain Cells. Or aka I Parry Everything. If you haven't watched I Parry Everything, I'm lying. I love all anime. I am an anime enthusiast. I believe in watching everything for what it is and trying to enjoy it. You may not enjoy it, but at least give it a shot. But if you are very picky with what you consume and what you watch, and you don't want to waste a lot of time, you just want to watch good anime all day, every day, for the rest of your life, if you were to skip I Parry Everything, you wouldn't be missing out on too many things. I can tell you that. Fortunately, though, that wasn't the case. They explained why Cry is the way Cry is. Sometimes I feel like he's kind of oblivious to certain things. However, I cut him some slack because being around all of those monsters for so long can make you that way. A lot of things that will be considered problems, you probably won't see it as a problem because you're so used to your luck being on 1,000 and your friends handling all of the things that you kind of get desensitized. But it is some moments where he should be like, oh, wait a minute, maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe I should think about this more. But he doesn't. But it's not that bad as I Parry Brain Cells, so we ball. And if you were to ask me, hey, Mr. Nonchalant Saitama, what would you rate it? 8.7 out of 10. Hard 8.7 out of 10. But you let me know, guys and girls, what did you think of this show when you watched it? And before I let you go, because we are almost at the end of the video, I want to talk about one last thing, and that is Cry's future, because he's going down a dangerous path. Between Liz and Citri, hard on the Citri part, man. she's going to take his life. Either she gonna take his life or take his. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe, and share it to anybody that you think is interested. And even if they aren't interested, still share it to them, because why not? Give me a Christmas present. Merry Christmas. I will see you guys in another video. I'm out. Peace.